ready to rock and roll. I thought maybe you and I could do a quick video on what we closed up yesterday.
That'd be excellent. It's a great deal. We can go over all the details, the background, how we got it, and how we worked together, how we closed it, how we solved problems. So yeah. So I had a handful of groups I'm involved in for marketing purposes to get our word out there to help people. So I randomly get a phone call from a guy that has a home, small cottage home out in Camp Lake, middle of nowhere, little town.
Okay.
But he calls and says, hey, I see on your profile you solve real estate problems, and just as simple as that, he's like, I have a problem. I need your help. So I took down his info, got the background, got the story. He said he'd been in a land contract for 5 years.
You don't mind? Hey, man, I'm going to write this down. Is this cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So this guy reaches out to you on, let's just social media channel, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you didn't put out any marketing pieces, any mailers, any kind of, this is just your normal.
My profile, just telling who I am and what I do in one of our.
That's awesome. So this guy saw your profile, and what did it say that alerted him?
It basically, showed that what I'd done. I think I had some examples of deals that I'd done, things we'd worked on, but more so just, a high level story of how we solve problems in real estate.
Okay. I love that right there. Networking, solve problems. So this guy calls you and says, I have a problem, right?
That's simple. Yep.
Okay. And then you call me and say, hey, I got a problem. So
that's pretty much how it went down, because I didn't know anything about these how to structure this deal. All I knew is I got on the phone with him and I'm like, yeah, dude, I can help you out. I'll figure this out. We'll make it work. And
awesome. I love that, man. So you had the confidence to just say, yeah, let's do this. Can you see this or not? I'm going to write down here.
There's glare. I think you need to go either darker marker or tilt it.
I just changed to black.
All right, there you go. Now I can read it.
All right. So social media, networking, solve problems, land contract. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's just use generic numbers so we don't, we're not going to put details out or anything like that. So let's just call it 100,000. Fair?
Yep. That'll work. Okay.
So he's in this deal. He's in a land contract. He owes $100,000 for a payoff. He's been in this house for how long?
He's been in it 5 years.
Okay, so 5 years he's been paying with any missed payments?
Not that I'm aware of. Nope. He told me he'd been pretty solid on payments, and he's been taking care of the home, updating it, and all that.
Okay, and so he takes care of. So basically, this is his house, right? Yep. He loves this house. This is it. But he's in a land contract. For some reason, he can't get a normal mortgage, correct?
He'd actually even hit an extension, and the guy that had the contract was basically just done. He didn't want to extend it anymore. He was coming up on a deadline. He had about 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he's got to be out of this thing in 3 weeks.
Yep.
You're basically saying the lender's calling it due, saying, hey, right. So this guy cannot refi with a bank. We don't know why. We don't care. Whatever extenuating circumstances in his life, he just can't get it done. So, so he comes in and says, hey man, I need you to solve this problem. I need to stay in my house. Obviously he's got 5 years in paying to this and a down payment, and he doesn't want to lose his house and all the equity. Correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
This thing's worth basically almost double, we figured.
Yeah, it's around 130. Actually, yeah.
Well,
using this number.
So let's just, So, all right. So wait, nobody caught that. So, all right. So here's the deal. We need to get him out of a land contract. We need to solve this problem. So we need to get him another lender. Okay. So
correct.
That's the bottom line. Get it all paid off. So that's where I started and jumped in and found another lender. We call it in this business PML, private money lender. Okay. Yep. Right. So I lay out the deal and say, look, here's the thing. This guy has been paying, was it 6%, right? 6.5%?
Yeah, he's about at 6%.
6%. Okay. So, and that's amortized what we, over 30 years is how we're setting this up. So we need to get him out of one land contract and basically into another one, which meant going down that road. The first calls I made were one, and this is just going to get messy here, but I just want to show the players. Okay. So in here, and so I'm going to write this first here. One was a PML. 2, okay, was title company, and 3 was my real estate attorney. Okay. So these are the players that, I want to have involved in this, that because I'm not going to write this myself. You're not going to write this, right? This
Correct.
I mean, title company will write there. We could all write this up in this land contract. But man, we want, if there's ever problems, we want to be able to go back and say, hey, here, attorney, solve this. You wrote this. If we need to, get him out of there, eviction or have an extension or something like that. Correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So in this, I didn't even have all of the pieces sorted out, man, in my head. I think I realized later that, oh, wait a second. That's right. We're not just getting out of this land contract and getting into another one. We have an actual sale that has to take place.
Yeah, I think we both kind of hit that aha moment together. We're like, oh crap, we're trying to get all these puzzle pieces together and make it work. And then it's like, wait a minute, technically it was changing hands.
So, and that was the big thing, like, okay, that's where the title company is coming back. And I finally, the light bulb went off, like, oh, that's right. We really have a sale first in this sense, because it goes from one lender to the next. So my new lender is actually going to purchase the property. Mm-hmm. And then, go through that channel, and then the land contract gets recorded next in that same transaction. So they're not even really closing again on it, where they're just recording the contract because the attorney put it up. So that was the interesting part, man, that, where it all came together and all the pieces, because I had them all operating together. Okay. We've got a lender on board. We've got the title company involved. We've got a deadline to get this guy out, right? 3 weeks, he's done. Yeah. And, because it was an older gentleman with his daughter that owned it. And, Connie went out and closed this. It was fantastic. And she went to them, of course, what other title company does that? She met the land contract guy at a McDonald's, and then she met the seller because he was elderly and had, COVID sensitive issues. And so fantastic how this thing everybody won. But once we got all those pieces together, it was like, okay, I'm letting you guys do this part, and then ask me questions. Once it took a couple of meetings for us all to get on the phone at the same time to really understand this is what we're doing here, people. Okay. But then we started talking terms, in essence, because we have all the pieces ready, and now we need to get everybody on board, right? So here we've got this payoff that needs to happen, right? And then there's fees along with a closing, right? And then it comes down to, what does that land contract look like for that 6%? And I think he's the one who really introduced and just said, hey, we didn't even demand this in the beginning, but you came back and said, hey man, he's also willing to put 10% down.
Yeah. He had some money stashed, and he was really motivated to keep the home. And, we were because he was so short on time, we were just scrambling to make anything work for him. And he was pretty open-minded. And I mean, that was a real good part of it that made it work, I think, because he was willing to do what he needed to do and just make it happen.
Right. Because he's what we would call, in this case, a motivated,
definitely.
Buyer, in essence, right? Not a motivated. We have
motivated
a motivated resident and we have a motivated buyer. And here, Adam, here we are in the middle. Okay. Yeah. So what's missing from this board then?
Archive.
Where are we getting rewarded for solving all of these problems, right? Yeah. So we, I basically came back to Adam and just said, look, man, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, this is our fee. Like, we're putting this together, and it can be paid outside of closing if you put right on the, on the settlement statement. I don't care how it gets done, but we need this guy to agree to this because this is what it's going to cost you. And it was a large fee. We won't say exactly what it is, but we need to make it, our time, worth it. And also for being able to
and we presented this to him early enough on. I mean, granted, it was like maybe 2.5 weeks for the whole thing, but early enough on in the phase where it's like, hey man, we got to let you know our cost here before we get going too far in this, because I don't want any surprises. I don't want you to, I don't want you to feel like, we're sneaking something at the end. Right. That was never our intent. So, but transparency the whole way, always, all correct. The time. So.
And that's what I loved about it. Now, here's the thing: we didn't gouge the guy, and we didn't take advantage of it. We just said, hey, look, in order for us to continue going down this, we've got all the pieces of, like, this is what our fee is going to be. This is how it's going to read. You're going to bring 10% down. You're going to bring the first payment, and then you're also going to bring another, cashier's check for the fee. And then all the pieces are tied together.
Yep.
So that was the last part of this, is we need to get paid. Now, again, we're not in this deal, Adam. We don't have to babysit this. A lender made a decision, to lend on this, and we've got everybody else agreed. This guy's getting paid off. He gets to get out of it with his daughter. They're super happy. This guy gets to keep his house, and he's got all the cash to keep it going. I mean, the payment was, ridiculously small, but in the end, the lender, with the attorney, we put together a contract that said, hey, look, we only want to be in this for 5 years, no extensions after that. So we're also extending to the guy, hey, man, if you want to we can help you get your stuff together and get you credit worthy, in essence, to do a refi at the end of this in 5 years. Either try to pay it off, or, we don't want to go through this drama again. So let's work on your credit. Let's work on whatever, so we're also throwing that olive branch out there to just say, hey, let us continue to help you. But it was,
I put that up in front of him too. And I think he actually said he'd been working on it with someone already, which was great. So
that's great, man. So, well, cool. Well, I don't mean to belabor this. I just wanted to show, I thought it was just pretty cool how all these pieces came together. And you or I in the beginning were just kind of like, okay, well, I see how this works. I can see all the parts, all the moving parts, all the pieces that have to happen. And in order to get all these players to agree to this, that's the other thing. And we did it in less than a week. That was the other.
Yeah. I mean, when it finally came down to it, yeah. And the way this works best is just a bunch of willing participants. So if everybody's working towards a common goal, then there's always going to be a way to figure it out. So.
Yep. I love that, man. Well said. Well said. I mean, that's probably the best part about this, because at some point, if one person says, no, I don't like this, wait a second. What do you mean I have to pay for recording fees or a closing fee or, even here's the other part. This was an unrecorded land contract. So this shows up, we got to pull title on this thing and see if it's clean. There's no open mortgages. There's no land contract recorded. There's no unrecorded land contract, nothing. So these guys are all just operating on a single piece of paper, and we're all hoping that everybody's staying true to this and it's legit. Because we can spend all this time going after it, and then something happens and somebody gets, salty and then shuts the whole thing down. So, well, awesome, man. And that's cool, because I've actually got, this is the best part. I've got our check sitting here from Teller Company, and I've got the lender's check sitting here for 10% down. And everybody's coming in today to get paid on this. Cool. And this guy's happy. He gets to stay in his house now. Part of that land contract, he has to replace the roof by the end of the year too, which he's more than willing to do. So, man, this was a great deal. So, again, disclaimer here, we're not selling, pushing anything. We just wanted to show everybody a legit, real creative deal here, and how we figured it out, how anything that comes your way, you should be able to provide a solution for. Look for the ways to solve these problems, because there were wins all across the board on this one.
Yeah. I mean, taking a call like that, buy yourself some time, get to know them, build some rapport, and then move on to problem solving, and then get back to them. So. Love
it, man. It's not always just a quick, bam, bam, this is a wholesale. This is a sheriff sale. This is a flip. Nope. We solved the deal, and everybody's happy in the end. So cool, man. Well, thanks for taking the time. I know we got long, but we'll push this out. Hopefully it'll help somebody out there. Right.
Yeah. Cool.